Only your hatred can destroy me. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. This is gonna be an interesting one. Now, before I actually get into things, I'm gonna preface this with a couple of things. The first is, I have been going so far out of my way to avoid every single piece of marketing ever since the first trailer came out. I saw the first trailer, I've avoided every trailer since, every article, I've watched no reviews, I haven't even seen the Rotten Tomatoes score. So as I am recording this, having now seen the movie, I have no idea what the general consensus on this movie is, or have any sense of what people do or don't like about it. What you're getting from me right now is just me. I haven't even talked to my friends who have seen it yet. Now, I am going to be getting into spoilers, but that'll be in a little bit. I'll start with a short spoiler-free version so that people who want to know my opinion but don't want to know spoilers or haven't seen it yet can move on. There are parts that are good, even great. Basically, everything that centers around Luke, Leia, Rey, and Kylo Ren is great. The rest of it I have issues with, and I can't really detail those issues without getting more into spoilers. But what I will say is the aspects of the story that don't center around those characters who I named drags along at a snail's pace and feels padded in the worst way. And to detail that is to get into spoilers. So that's your spoiler free. Let's get into this. This thing opened wonderfully. I love the opening battle. It was wonderful. It was tense. You got to see Poe do awesome Poe stuff, but it also gave him a really good starting point. And actually, I didn't name Poe among my characters that I loved everything about, but he still had some really good moments. He started out really well, and I like where he ends. He probably has more of an arc in terms of actually ending up in a different place than he started than any other character in this movie. Because it seems like a lot of the other characters who go through arcs like have a dip but then end up very similar to where they started at the beginning of the movie. He actually feels like he goes through a bit more of a journey, and he changes his approach and his thinking as to how the best way to do this fight is. And the opening with the Dreadnought was an impressive, intimidating piece of equipment. I was impressed with that and all that stuff. Terrific. Great. Then we get to the island. Now, the island stuff was a little slow, but I was kind of okay with that. I kind of expected that because, you know, the obvious parallel and comparison is the Dagobah stuff in Jedi. Empire Strikes Back. And so I was kind of expecting that to be a little bit slower paced, and it was going along, it was okay. And then they established the connection between Kylo Ren and Rey, and I liked that. I like it just as a concept. I liked the way that it played out. I liked what it brought out of each of those characters. I loved the way they played off each other. I really liked all of that stuff. The stuff we found out about Luke and in terms of sort of the background and what had gone on, none of it was excessively shocking, but I think it all played pretty well. The Yoda cameo was great. I thought that was terrific. Like I said, Leia's really good. Leia, she gets some real moments to shine, and I will straight up, I teared up when she was out in space and she opened her eyes again and she like force pulled her way back to the ship. That brought a tear to my eye. That was good stuff. Oh God, Kylo Ren facing down Luke. First of all, what a great fight that was. And then the revelation that Luke was never even there. And then you realize the hints that were right in front of you. Because I noticed very early on, they drew attention to it. The fact that, you know, Kylo Ren, he's leaving footprints. Luke is not. And I thought it was just a matter of, oh God, he's so down with the Force, like he leaves no trace or anything like that. But it's like, no, he's not even there. Like that was a really good, really triumphant reveal that no, he hadn't even been there the entire time. And it also like fixed some things because he turned on the lightsaber. I'm like, wasn't that the lightsaber that just got split in half? What's going on there? But of course, now I know why. He wasn't even really there. And the way the fight was going makes more sense because he wasn't blocking anything Kylo Ren did. He was just dodging. He was avoiding contact at all costs. And as cool as the whole, they bombard him with everything they've got and he's still there thing is, I'm glad it was a fake out because honestly, otherwise that's like, really? Because we saw a whole bunch of Jedi Masters get gunned down by clone troopers back in Revenge of the Sith. And I know a lot of fans my age and older don't like Revenge of the Sith, and we like to pretend it didn't happen, but like that seemed as unreasonable. But again, then you realize he's not even there. Oh, awesome, cool. So that kind of stuff, good, even great. I mean, I think that Adam Driver is really becoming an MVP of this series. I'm really loving watching him, and he delivers the struggle really well. And so did Mark Hamill as Luke. What he delivered really well was the pain of his failures, like how he couldn't let those go, and then Yoda giving him the absolute perfect advice that failure is the most important thing that we can learn from. Like, that was exactly what he needed to hear, and that was great. So now that I've praised all that stuff, here's the problems with this thing. I mentioned the padding. What I mean by the padding is we start out and they are escaping. And they are trying to get away from the First Order, and they need Poe to basically slow them down long enough for them to get away. Cool. He does that. They end up losing more people as a result of his plan than Leia is comfortable with. I like that she appreciates the value of each life being lost. That's a nice touch. So that happens and they get away. Then they get caught up to again, and now they are very slowly running away, and they need to figure out a way to stall this ship that's following them and keep fleeing. Okay, great. It seems like this is kind of a repeat of the issue we just had, but okay. How do we do that? Well, we gotta turn off this sensor thing, the tracker on the ship. Great, terrific. So great. This is a mission for them to go in, infiltrate. Awesome. Oh no, but see, we can't do that yet because first you gotta go find this codebreaker. Okay, well, where's the codebreaker? Well, you gotta go here. Is this it? Well, no. See, now you're arrested. You know what it feels like? It feels like when you're playing a video game and you get given a very specific mission. Like, you gotta do this. You go, great, let's do it. And the game goes, no, it's side quest time. You gotta go off and do this other thing so that you get the resource you need to do this main quest. Like, oh, okay, well, side quests are fun. They're a way to open things up, give us some new locations, get a couple of fun characters. Cool, I'll go on this side quest. And then you start doing the side quest, and as you're about to get to the thing that'll complete the side quest so you can do the main quest, you get another road sign that says, you can't complete this side quest until you go off on this other side quest to get the thing you need so you can get the thing you need so you can actually do the main quest. That's what it feels like with this whole going to this casino planet to find a code breaker, to stop the tracker, to find a code breaker, to then get to go through all of the effort of trying to get on the ship to stop the tracker, to then finally try and get away. And then Laura Dern's character, who's fine. I mean, I'll also clarify this. None of the performances are bad. All the performances are fine. And some of the ones I mentioned already are great. But I get that she's I give you orders, you just follow them kind of person, and she has a different way of leading, and she rubs up against Poe. Get it. Fine. But once it's very clear that he is really not listening, and he is antsy and he's kind of hard to control, why would you not just tell him what the plan is? If the plan is we're gonna cloak these smaller ships and go down to this planet, why wouldn't you tell him that? Especially considering, like, after he has a mutiny and gets stunned and put on one of these ships and gets told the plan, he goes, oh, that's a pretty good plan. Yes, It is. Maybe if she told it to him, he wouldn't have had to do a friggin' mutiny. Like, what was the point of that? And yes, I get it feeds into Poe's little arc that I've already complimented, but like, that's dumb. We get the new character of Rose, who's fine. She was okay. Benicio del Toro, I forgot he was in this. He turned up, I was like, oh, okay. And then he started talking like, oh, we got our latest trademark Benicio del Toro weird voice. He's got a stutter this time. That's new. And again, he was fine, but yeah, he was tied up in the side quest to get to do the side quest. So I was kind of inherently annoyed with him because he fed into something that I already didn't like. And then even beyond that whole thing, they get down to this planet and the First Order follows them down and they have to set up this cannon. And we get this whole thing, okay, we got to take these speeders out to take out this cannon so he can get away. And I'm thinking, didn't we just do this 2 times before, actually? Isn't this how the movie opened? And isn't this like the whole thing with the cruiser and like trying to get away from Snoke's ship? Like, aren't we effectively doing the same thing 3 times in one movie? I got really mixed feelings on Snoke too. Andy Serkis does a really good job playing him. I like the look of him. He is intimidating, but we're probably never going to get answers on this guy now because he's dead. In a good scene, in a good way, and it was a good moment for Kylo Ren, and so that his death worked, but there's now no reason for them to ever tell us who the hell he was. Because it doesn't matter, because he's dead. And understand, this isn't me needing a validation for like some pet fan theory I have. I haven't really cared who he was, but part of the reason I didn't care who he was because I always assumed we would get an answer. So, and like, I don't always need answers. Like, I didn't ever need to know who the Emperor was because, like, well, I know the Empire's evil. He's the head of that. Do I really need to know much more than that? Honestly, I don't, which is, you know, one of the many fall downs of the prequels because it focuses on the rise of this guy. Like, I didn't need to know his background. But in the case of Snoke, there's like, how he fits into this? The little bits we've gotten just raise a bajillion questions that don't get answered. Like, and not just from the previous movie, in this one too. Because Luke is all like, Snoke already poisoned his heart. Okay, how? Who the hell was he? Where did he come from? How did he know to go to Kylo Ren? How did he contact him? Like, what? Who? How? When? And again, I don't need like a massive detailed history of the rise of the First Order. In my personal opinion, it doesn't really matter. Enough time passed between the original trilogy and this that I can just kind of roll with another, you know, something came in and co-opted the resources and the imagery of the Empire and became its own worst thing. I can just roll with that. But like, you've drawn specific attention to the fact that this guy who's leading it, like, is a Force user and specifically went after Kylo Ren. Like, that raises way too many questions and you can't just ignore them. You could have if you hadn't brought them up in the first place and he had just been the guy who leads this thing, but he wasn't. He was more than that. And now, like, what the hell? I do want to say we did get answers to one question. We actually got the answers that I always wanted, but I didn't think we were going to get. And that's in regards to Rey. Her parents were nobody. I love that. That was what I wanted in the first movie. But I assumed we were never going to get that because there was all this heavy foreshadowing of, ooh, who's her parents? Where'd you get this power from? Her parents are nobody. She's just strong with the Force. Oh, yes! Because the Skywalkers are not the end-all, be-all of everything. Somebody new can come along and be great. It doesn't have to be tied to this family and this bloodline. It could just be anybody or a nobody. Love it! But I gotta tell you, I think, you know, I've been bouncing back and forth between things I did and didn't like. Because the things that I like a lot. And the things that I don't like, I really don't like. And more to the point, I don't understand how that happened. Like, the whole way that the thing is padded and repetitive. Like, how did that happen? Like, I don't get it. Because this is just basic storytelling stuff that you don't do that. So it just was really frustrating. I think ultimately it's not bad. I wouldn't say it's flat out bad. It's worth seeing. It's fun, and like I said, when it's good, it's great, but it's probably my least favorite Star Wars film, excepting the prequels. So episodes 1, 2, 3, set those aside. Those are absolutely at the bottom. But it's my least favorite of what's left. I like it less than The Force Awakens. I like it less than Rogue One. I like it less than Return of the Jedi, Empire, New Hope. I like it less than all those. But I did use the phrase least favorite as opposed to it's the worst, because I do still enjoy it, but this goes down as a disappointment for me. And like I said, at the time of recording, I have no idea if I am about to get piled on by all the fans who think I'm an idiot because everyone has declared this thing brilliant and it's got a 90 whatever on Rotten Tomatoes, or if I'm actually vocalizing an opinion that is more widely shared. I have no idea. I suppose I'll find out, depending on whether or not I get crucified in the comments for this one. But Star Wars: The Last Jedi, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Please have them be more in-depth and polite than just telling me that I'm an idiot. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check me out on Twitter at Council of Geeks. Give a listen to the Council of Geeks podcast. That's available on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher Radio. I'm also one half of the Punch Like a Girl podcast. That is a presentation of the Fire and Water Podcast Network. fireandwaterpodcast.com. Links for all this stuff is down below. And until next time, this council is adjourned.